How's it going, guys? Today I wanted to show you a really cheap, easy, and kind of tasty, if you like them, survival food that you can still get right now for pretty inexpensive and stock up a lot to provide calories and nutrition to your family. If you guys haven't noticed, things are getting very expensive. Just yesterday I noticed that ground beef had gone up 50 cents overnight. That might seem like it's not a big deal, but 50 cents when you multiply it over, a couple of pounds, you have a bigger family, it's going to make a lot of people not able to buy beef. And that was ground beef. Several people I heard around the meat counter were scratching their heads and didn't know why and what's going on with meat prices. Well, obviously those people aren't watching the news, especially the alternative news that's actually going to report the facts. Food prices are going up. Inflation, of course, is going up. You're paying more for your gas. You're going to pay more for your food. So here's a way to get a good amount of calories for cheap. What originally got me interested in stocking potatoes is a channel here on YouTube called, I believe, Depression Cooking. I'll leave the link down in the description box. It's a woman who has since passed away who lived through the Great Depression, and her videos are about all of the recipes that she remembers from her childhood growing up, and most of them featured potatoes. Why? Because they are cheap. They will grow anywhere as long as the soil isn't too wet. Of course, it has to not be too dry. It can't be the desert. They can be grown in containers. They can be grown almost anywhere. They provide a lot of nutrition, a lot of your minerals, your potassium, magnesium, a lot of vitamin C. Actually, a potato has more vitamin C than an orange. So in a survival situation, you're thinking of scurvy, you're thinking of how to stay well to get enough vitamin C. Well, potatoes will help you do that, as well as carbohydrates to give you energy. So anyway, that's what a potato looks like. I buy them in these bags. This bag here cost me $14 for 50 pounds. They're right out of the ground. They still have the dirt on them. This is from, it's about 60 miles away from our neighbor whose family owns the farm. But you can get these, especially if you're in the West. If not, get them from your grocery store. They sell potatoes there, and they're cheap. Potatoes have been able to be used to survive by numerous famines. Of course, everybody knows the potato famine. So how do I store them? I store them either in here or in a cardboard box in a cool, dark place. Why cardboard, not plastic? Because these are very moist inside. They have a lot of moisture, water, and so they're going to give off some of that moisture. If you keep them in a bag, they will rot because the moisture will build up, mold and rot will ensue, and bye-bye go your potatoes. Now that can still and will still happen in a cardboard box, but it will take a lot longer. I just threw out the last of our potatoes from last year. They were fine. They didn't rot, they didn't mold, they just grew shoots and started to grow more potatoes in the bag, so that's not good. So you keep them in a cardboard box. The box will help absorb the moisture that they're giving off. In a box like this, in a cool, dark place like your basement, even a closet, something like that, they'll last all winter and into spring if you don't eat them first. Now, if you want to do something more along the lines of medium to long-term storage, you can can them. I did these last night. You need to pressure can them. I will do videos on that, or there's tons of videos on here on YouTube on pressure canning. You cannot just water bath can them like you would a jam or a jelly or fruit. They have to be pressure canned, and the pressure has to be set to your altitude. It seems intimidating, but it's not. It's to me, pressure canning is easier than water bath canning. So these are preserved. Let's see if I can open it's kind of stuck. There we go. So I'll store them like that with the ring off. That way, if they do go bad and it starts to rot or mold or whatever, the gases will form. They should pop the lid. So you see the lid is on there. It's sealed. This is good to go for at least 2 years. No, at least 1 year, up to 2 years. I usually use them or throw them out after 2 years or give them to the animals. Why would I do this? Why would I pressure can instead of just baking this or boiling this? Well, if you lose power, or if for some reason you can't cook, or your cooking resources are limited, maybe you have a blackout, maybe there's been a hurricane or a tornado, and you're working on your propane stove because the gas lines are down, or an earthquake. When I grew up in California, the earthquakes would come, and then you'd have to shut your gas off. So now you have no gas stove, maybe you're cooking on propane. Well, to boil a potato, that could take up a lot of your propane. Or God forbid you're on a wood stove, that's going to take forever to boil a potato in a grid down emergency type situation, temporary or long term. So if you have this, all you have to do is warm it up. It's already cooked inside the jar. You could eat it just like this if you wanted to. I don't want to, but you could solar oven, you could cook it really fast, heat it up, whatever you need to do. It is cooked, it's ready to eat, ready to go. There's salt in it, so it's seasoned. Perfect. Mashed potatoes, all you want. I'll go further into that. So for now, what I want you to remember is, I know a lot of people are having trouble with their finances. You know, I am on a budget too. I don't have $1 million to spend. So I'm always looking for cheap, easy ways to increase my food storage. Well, the potato, what do they say? Don't fix it if it ain't broke, right? Potato people eat, go buy them. They're cheap. Eat them, store them in a box in your basement, or can them. Thanks for watching.